Truthfully, I don't have words for what I just witnessed, and truthfully witnessed over the last, I don't know, feels like a month at this point. Welcome back to .NET Phillies. Today we have a very special guest coming on later on in the program. It is with John, my manager. We have a live reaction of the trade deadline, including breaking news while we were recording. Um, and normal stuff. So I'm just gonna cut all the BS. I'm just going to go get right into it. What in God's name is this team doing? The Phillies just got swept by the Yankees. They lose the series out of the All-Star break to the Pirates. They lose the series out of the All-Star break to the Twins, Jesus. Lose those series out of the All-Star break to the Twins. Then you come back home. You're like, okay, we're back home. We're going to get back on track. You lose the series against the Oh, I'm all fired up. You lose the series against the Guardians, then you get swept by the Yankees. They have lost 11 of their last 15 with no help in sight. Kyle Schwarber's lost. Turner's lost. Harper is especially lost. Bohm is fine. Casty's fine. Stott's getting hot. Marsh is eh. I mean, you got to give credit to Austin Hayes because he's the only guy that's showing up to the ballpark every goddamn day with a game plan. All of these guys have no approach right now. It reminds me so much of the 2022 and 2023 beginning of the year Phillies, except we're getting it when it matters most. The Mets are red hot. The Braves are not going to be this bad for this long. And you had the chance right now to bury the Mets and Braves, and instead you let them hang on. And for all intents and purposes, you are going on a 10-game road trip. You're going 3 games out in Seattle. You're doing 3 games out in LA and then 4 games out in Arizona. There is a chance that you are not in the division lead by the end of this 10-game stretch because you, Philadelphia Phillies, allowed those teams to get back right into the race. I don't know what they do. I don't know what their problem is. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. The starters are fine. Out of all the people that I believe in the most, the starters have been perfectly fine. The bullpen all of a sudden sucks. What are we doing? What in the hell was Rob Thompson doing today? Putting Jose Ruiz into a high leverage situation? That guy is not going to be on the team once this team is fully healthy. So, what in the hell was the game plan there, Topper? I understand that you used Hoffman last night. Alvarado threw like 3 pitches yesterday. So why in the hell is he not in that spot? It doesn't make sense. You have we talked about the deadline, and ultimately I think they had a very solid deadline. It wasn't going to be this magnificent deadline like I was hoping for. Austin Hayes has been very good since putting on a Phillies uniform, so I'm not ready to write that off as it was the bad move, but I was hoping for a Randy Arozarena, for not Robert, but a guy of his magnitude, a guy who sends shivers down your spine when you see him in the lineup, protected by Schwarber, protected by Harper, Turner, Bohm, Casty, Marsh, Stock. All these guys, it lengthens that lineup, and Austin Hayes is not that guy. I very much enjoyed Austin Hayes in a Phillies uniform. Had an excellent game last night. Had a chance to give the Phillies the tie of the game and walk it off today by a combined 4 feet. He was right there, right there. But it is just so I don't know what to do. The biggest comparison that I have seen around Twitter and around, my inner circle of friends and everything like that. This is exactly what the Eagles did last year. Like, what in the hell are we doing? They started out red hot, and then obviously, looking at the Eagles side of stuff, you had Matt Patricia take over defensive play calling, and that was the biggest mistake that Howie made. So much so that he fired the whole staff and completely tore down the defense and rebuilt it. Like these guys came in and couldn't figure out how to tackle, how to block, how to do anything. The defense was Swiss cheese out there, and the offense with Brian Johnson was atrocious. And he literally cleaned house and put it all back together because of how bad this is. And now we are looking at a potential same situation with the Phillies right now. They are in an all-time drought right now. It is not just a couple series. They have lost 5 consecutive series. It's almost like against the Dodgers, they swept them and then the soul was sucked out of them. It doesn't seem like they're playing with an edge anymore. It doesn't seem like they're playing for anything. They're contented where they at. And for God's sakes, that's what's going to kill you. That's what killed them in the playoffs last year. That's what killed the Mets back in 2022. It's what's killed the Braves the past couple years in the playoffs. Being content with where you're at because you have such a large lead. You cannot. You stomp on their throats. You make sure they cannot breathe. And the second you think they're breathing again, you knock them back down again. But instead, you're allowing them to stay into this game, to stay into this division race. And that is your fault, Phillies. You need to shape up and figure out what in the hell is going on sooner rather than later, because eventually the Atlanta Braves are going to be knocking right on your doorstep, and Thompson and Dombrowski, oh, well, we got to go, oh, we're going to break out of it. Break out of it then. If it's going to happen, break out of it for Christ's sake. I'm tired of all this running around rigmarole. Topper going, oh, well, we got to play better. Then play better. Oh, Bryce, we got to take accountability. Take accountability and play your ass off every single night. If you were hustling last night, Bryce, we win that game. Instead, you're lackadaisically going down the first. I don't give a damn if what kind of slump you're in right now. You hustle every single ball out, especially when your team is down. Show them that no matter what, your superstar, your guy you have out there every single day is going to hustle. Show those young guys. But instead, you're showing them it's okay to be content. Doesn't matter if I'm an 0 for 25 or whatever the hell he's going through right now. Oh, I'm going to be fine. Oh, I'm just going to hustle this out. No, none of that matters. You need Schwarber, Harper, all of these guys need to shape up and figure it the hell out before the Braves are knocking on your doorstep, because truthfully, they already are. You're making me drink regular soda, Phillies. You think I like that? You think I want to become fat like I was in high school? Do you think I want that? You're causing me to do this, Phillies. You're causing me to do this. Positives. There really isn't any. I mean, the trade deadline came and went. When healthy, the Phillies rotation is in place. The Phillies bullpen is nasty on paper. It seems like everybody is taking a step back other than Jeff Hoffman. Jeff Hoffman pitched 2 fantastic games last night. Or innings, Jesus. 2 fantastic games. 2 fantastic innings last night. They should have won. They sold the game last night. They had a chance to win it today. Topper's bullpen management since the All-Star break has been absolutely atrocious. You're putting way too much trust into the wrong guys, like Jose Ruiz, like a Junior Marte. They are not good pitchers. They should not be on this league. And I understand you're dealing with the situation right now where those guys are your only options out there. But it comes down to you need to shape up and figure it out. Plain and simple. All fired up. Moving on. I just want to give a shout out to Ashland's Graham. I was going to record this tomorrow morning, truth be told. I had a long day. I'd work all day, and then I got some food with some friends. I just mowed the lawn. I am exhausted, but you know what? I said for her to watch it tomorrow while Ashland is visiting her, I had to. For you, Kathy. For you. Segment incoming with Graham, but she's probably not going to pay attention to anything I'm saying right now, which makes it even funnier. But keep an eye out for that. So after my all-time rant, now I'm going to transition to my interview with John. We kind of go into the trade deadline, the Phillies needs, how we felt, first rip off of that. And then once we're done there, we're going to come back here, and then I will go over the preview against the Mariners and against the Dodgers, kind of figuring out how we go from there, and then wrapping up with some news regarding a new podcast coming out. So stay tuned for that. All right, we are back, kind of, sort of. This is a big episode. This is the trade deadline episode, and we are joined by none other than my manager. It's John. It's John Slaven, everybody. John Slaven. How we doing, John? How we doing?
Hey, buddy.
Well, trade deadline is coming past, and Dave Dombrowski didn't do a goddamn thing. How we feeling?
Underwhelmed, I guess, would be my thing. What else can you say?
It's so officially, I mean, unless something squeaks through in the final hour here, the Phillies acquired Austin Hayes, Carlos Estevez, and who was the guy that they just got from the White Sox? Hold on.
Tanner
Hold on.
something.
Tanner Scott? No, that's not it. Maybe Tanner
Nope.
Banks. Um, really? Like that's your all-in deadline, Dave? I just I don't know what to say. It clearly was a seller's market because the Padres gave out a king's ransom to get two relievers. But what is your kind of initial thoughts with how the Phillies trade deadline kind of panned out?
Underwhelmed. I mean, not necessarily disappointed. Where's the splash move? I mean, it's just all in, best team in baseball. Didn't feel as all in. And I know, the ghost of Christmas past with previous regimes where we sell the farm, but it's like, are we going all in, or are we kind of in, kind of out, hoping for the best? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
It just feels like they were gonna pull the trigger, but they didn't want to give up all that much. But it's like, look, if you are in the position that the Phillies are in, where you are the best team in baseball, you have the talent, you need another outfielder, you need another bullpen guy, and like a dude, and that didn't happen. Now, mind you, we don't know what the deals for a Mason Miller or a Brent Rooker or Bellinger or Luis Robert. We don't know what those deals would have looked like. But the Phillies had the ammo to do it and they didn't.
No.
It just feels very half in, half out, more or less the same thing as years past under the Dombrowski regime, where 22, you got Marsh, and that's been we love Brandon Marsh. You got Syndergaard, but he's not Noah. Wait, hold on. I mean, God. Okay, so somebody sent me this regarding the splits on Tanner Scott. Apparently, against left-handed hitting. Let me bring this up. In the past, so this year in 37 games against left-handed hitting, he has a 2.42 ERA. So I don't know, like he has a ton of years of control left. He has like 3 or 4 years, but it's just like that's it.
Any idea what they gave up to get Tanner
Yes.
Banks?
Yes, it was Tanner freaking Banks. Gotta be kidding me. It was William Bergolia. I don't know who that is, therefore I really don't care.
Yeah.
Um, but kind of just looking at other moves, you had the in my opinion the winners of this deadline were the Orioles.
Oh,
They they traded for Zach Eflin, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Christian Pache, Eloy Jimenez, um, um, Trevor Rogers as well. Like, truth be told, I think they are going forward the best team in baseball.
oh, by far. I mean, by far. I mean, granted, the Orioles don't have the payroll that the Phillies have. A lot of young talent on that team, but oh my God, like they got to compete with the Yankees too. But yeah, I think they're by far the favorite going forward. Yeah, absolutely.
Give me one sec. I think. Okay, no. I think the Phillies made a move at the buzzer, but again, let me see. One sec. Keep talking, John. Fill the space. Talk about
Fill space. Fill space.
fill the space. Fill the space.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, let me see. Seth. Seth Johnson was traded to the Phillies,
who is?
and he's from the Orioles. What did? All right, hold on. Let me look into this. Give me a minute, John. Seth Johnson is headed to the Phillies from the Orioles. MLB. He's a pitcher, amateur college. He's starting pitcher, shortstop, and second baseman. Okay. He's in double A. I mean, has a 2.63 ERA in 18 games in double A. So I'm interested. There's a lot of moves that are coming through.
Yeah, they're gonna trickle in.
Yeah. Mark Canna has been traded to the Giants. Um, we had the just I don't know, like looking at it and looking more in detail, it looks like they made moves that aren't the flashy moves, which it costs less to do that. Now, mind you, Estevez cost them not that much in hindsight because we saw a lot of these relievers kind of give up a lot, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like it just wasn't the moves. Like I don't know how to say it. Like your big bat was Austin Hayes, really?
Yeah. What's he got? 3 home runs on the season?
It's like you needed to get a guy who's going to go out there and mash, and they didn't do that.
Mm.
Now, again, they could have called up the White Sox and said, "Name your price for Luis Robert," and they wanted Painter, Abel, Miller, Crawford, and I'm not doing that for a guy who is, again, as we've talked about before, has only played 100 games once in his entire career. And a lot of names didn't get traded. Robert did not get moved. Crochet
Nah.
did not get moved. Mason Miller, Brent Rooker, all did not get traded. Which Brent Rooker to the Braves would have crushed my soul, but
Yeah. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, whatever they did in this deadline, it was never going to move the needle to the extent that Harper getting hot, Turner getting hot, JT finding some sort of form. So the big boys got to hit. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. Stott, I feel like is starting to turn that corner and be turned more into the Bryson Stott we know him to be. But it was all this talk about all in this, all in that, and it just doesn't feel like we are. I feel like if you're going to have those expectations, then you need to live up to them, and I don't feel like they did this deadline.
and
Period.
I and you know it comes back to because I was talking to one of my friends about this and he said they're going to acquire whomever. Now look, they did exactly what they sought out to do: get a right-handed bat, get a left-handed reliever, and a right-handed reliever. They did exactly what they wanted to do. Um, but it's kind of like this team, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. This team is so good that they're not accounting for, like you said, Harper turning it around, Turner turning it around. Casty's been good, Stott's finding it, Marcia's hot, like all of this stuff, and that's essentially going to be an acquisition period. That stuff is going to translate over. Now you're left with kind of the conundrum of your starting rotation because truthfully, I think they could have. Oh, hold on.
New news, breaking news.
Breaking news. Phillies are trading Gregory Soto to the Baltimore Orioles.
See you, pal.
Seth Johnson for Greg Soto. Wow.
Straight up.
That's from Jim Salisbury. Yup. Phillies are trading Gregory Soto to the Baltimore Orioles, according to sources, in exchange for Seth Johnson.
Good riddance.
Good job. You
That's it,
trim the
Jared.
fat.
He's gone.
You trim the fat. The Diamondbacks got Dylan Floro. He was in another one. Kyle Finnegan did not get traded.
Nah, no, I didn't.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. You really trim the fat out of the bullpen. You replace Greg Soto with what the hell was his name?
Greg Soto. That I don't know. Something
Wow.
Scott.
Both were yeah, dude, you should see the Orioles fans. Oh, Baltimore is
Sad.
acquiring left-handed reliever Greg Soto from the Philadelphia Phillies for right-handed pitcher prospect Seth Johnson. Beautiful. And a top 10 Orioles prospect too. Are they stupid?
Wait, that top 10 Orioles prospect. Wow.
Seth Johnson, top 10 Orioles prospect for Gregory Soto.
Wow. Wow.
So, all right. That's okay. Okay. Wow. I mean, I saw the Phillies traded for him. I didn't know what they gave up. Getting rid of Greg Soto is huge, especially after last night, which, of course, his last outing as a Philly was 1 inning, 3 earned runs, which chef's kiss. So you trim the fat. You replace Sir Anthony Dominguez with Carlos Estevez. That's an extreme upgrade. You now replace Gregory Soto, who again is going to the Baltimore Orioles, and you replace him with Tanner Banks.
Tanner
I, for,
Banks.
I forgot his name. You replace him with Tanner Banks. Now, truthfully, the pitcher that I trust the least in that bullpen is John.
Is it Jose?
It might be.
So here's my thing with Jose. All right. He likes to eat. He's fat. But we love him. We love him. Look,
I love it. Like he's going to turn it around. Like I'm not
he's
worried about
absolutely
it.
going to.
Yes. And go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jose's one of those guys where he comes up in a big spot in the playoffs. I think he's going to strike out the side. I
Yeah.
really do.
He lives for the moment.
Now, he's hot, he's cold, but what pitcher isn't? You know what I
He's
mean?
going to figure it out. I'm not
He
worried about
absolutely is.
Alvarado for an extended period of time. I still trust him to come into a big spot and have balls the size of Texas and take care of what needs to get taken care of.
Yeah.
Now, you're rolling out a. I gotta. Where's a. I don't have a pen in here. Anyway, you're rolling out a bullpen because I was gonna write down, John. You know, I gotta. Okay. Anyway, you're rolling out a bullpen now where you have Jeff Hoffman, you have
Yep.
Carlos Estevez, Jose
Mhm.
Alvarado, Orion Kirkring, Matt Strom, Tanner Banks, and
Junior Marte.
Tyler Phillips, Junior Marte, Spencer, whomever that may be.
I love that the fifth bullpen name you named was Matt Strom, who is
And an
probably the
all-star.
best one we have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous bullpen, and they upgraded their two weakest links in Greg Soto and Sir Anthony Dominguez, who now are joining Craig Kimbrell to reassemble the 2023 Philadelphia Phillies bullpen there in Baltimore.
Now let me ask you this. I mean, we were going back and forth on Ranger today.
Yeah.
Do you think Turnbull comes back, you slot Turnbull into the rotation and you move Ranger back into the bullpen?
I don't think that's going to be the plan off the riff. I think Ranger is going to come back into the bullpen now. If he can only go 3, 4, 5 innings at a time, I think you need to put him into the bullpen as a super. Like, I would put him right next to Jeff Hoffman in terms of guys I would trust coming out of the bullpen to get big outs.
Yeah.
Because Ranger's heart just is, he's a different breed of human. The guy's heartbeat it doesn't beat, it just goes. Now, I just can't believe they got Gregory Soto the hell out of here.
I mean, look, thank God. See you, Greg. Don't care. You know who looked really good on this roster right now? Matt Vierling. But
That Matt Vierling literally would be the perfect guy for them to. Hold on, let me
but
see if anything else trickled in.
it's
Keep going.
great that we got these prospects. A top 10 prospect for Gregory Soto, that's wonderful. But if we're not going to pull the trigger on any big moves, what the hell are we doing with these prospects? It's just so I mean, most of our guys here are big pieces, are over the age of 30. Our window is now. We need to win now. And it seems like we want our cake and we want to eat it too. And you can't have both things right now.
So this is from Jack Fritz regarding the Tanner Banks trade. He
Okay.
said, quote, getting a lefty reliever, especially with the questions about Alvarado and Soto. Obviously, at the time this quote was, we did not know Gregory Soto was getting traded.
Right.
I think it's very important that they got a left-handed specialist. Now I need to look at the comments. What a terrible moon. Sick of the Phillies to get rid of them. Why would Philly do that? Someone said, why would Philly do that?
Well,
Oh my God.
if you watch
Deadline.
base,
Yeah, did you watch baseball? Now, all right. I'm not completely upset about it. It's just you did exactly what you sought out to do, and especially you got rid of two of your weakest links in the bullpen. Now, now you kind of need to you look at the rotation right now, it's a little bit in shambles. Right now, as it stands today, the rotation is Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Chris Sanchez, Colby Allard, and Tyler Phillips. I love
Yeah.
Tyler Phillips. I think he's that psychopath on the mound. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be Max Scherzer. Let me just pump the brakes on that one. But he reminds me a lot of Scherzer of talking to himself, like crazy, crazy, crazy killer mindset. And then when he's off the field, he's like the nicest human being in the world. Um, oh, Banks walk. Hold on. I'm reading more into Mr. Banks because the more and more that are coming out about Tanner Banks, the more and more I like this trade for the Phillies. Tanner Banks in 48 innings only has 15 walks, 48 innings. Doesn't walk anybody.
It's good.
To give people perspective, let me just go to Gregory Soto's walks. So what I said, 15 and 48.
That is what you said.
So Gregory Soto, now a Baltimore Oriole. In 35 innings, Greg Soto has 20 walks. So perspective, 10 less innings, 5 more walks. They certainly upgraded there. Now your excuse me, your rotation is going to get healthier. The one thing, unfortunately, the Phillies were unable to do was get off of the Taiwan Walker contract. I think if they are going to get off of that, that is going to be a post deadline move. Liam, stop sending me stuff.
He sent me something though. I know it is.
um, now, are you eventually the offense is going to click? Is not getting a bat at the deadline make or break for you, or do you think this team is just far too talented to go out and spend X amount of draft capital on a big name bat?
No, I guess my beef is the contradicting. I get it. Like you got to go around, you got to shop, you got to see what the price is. But no, I mean the bat thing is not a make or break. I think there's enough bats in this lineup to take us far, and it's proven that the first half of this season. I mean, Bryce is always going to figure it out. He's one of the best players in baseball.
Top
Uh,
three.
Trey, what's that?
Top three.
Yeah, top three. Um, yeah, I mean Trey's had a very good year despite the injury. Kyle Schwarber oddly has been fantastic, not just hitting home runs. Nick's going to be hot and cold. We know that about Castellanos. I mean Bryson Stott, I feel like is starting to come out of that. You know, dad syndrome. I got it too. Um,
Oh, I have a kid. Ooh.
shut up. Brandon Marsh. I love Brandon Marsh. I love him. He's got to be an everyday player. I mean, I got to see him hit both righties and lefties. He's got to do it. Otherwise, this line's gonna have a big hole in it because I don't want to see Johan Rojas in the playoffs. Unless
Yeah.
Johan is being a pinch runner or a defensive replacement, I can't see him in a playoff series. I just can't.
Yeah, and you look at, the team is only as good as its bench players, and for the most part, every time one of those big guys have gone down, the Phillies, bench players have stepped up. When Trey went down, Sosa stepped up. When JT went down, Stubbs and Marchand shared that role very, very well. You had in the outfield, you had, Wes Wilson fill in, you've had David Dahl, his Linsanity run.
Your
Um,
guy.
my guy, David Dahl. But you've had these guys step up. They're gonna figure it out. I don't blame them for not going after a huge bat, other than, I think Austin Hayes is going to, yes, he's off to a rough start with the Phillies, but I think ultimately he is going to be a very solid player for the Phillies. And, you know, I would not have minded if they went and got another rotation arm, another starter. Mind you, looking at the price of what some of the people paid to get these starters, I'm not a huge fan of. So it's whatever. All in all, I would give them, I would give it like a C plus B minus trade deadline for Dave Dombrowski.
I think that's fair.
I think all
Now,
of that stems from getting rid of Gregory Soto too. But anyway,
yeah, oh yeah, it's huge. But with that said, would you have what the Orioles gave up for Eflin? Would you have done that?
1000%, absolutely.
Now that I'm thinking about it, 2020, reflecting back upon the deadline now that it's over, Eflin would have been a good move here. Bring him back home.
John, I think you called me. I think the exact quote was, "You're an idiot for wanting Zach Eflin last week," and now all of a sudden here you are.
Well, no, you're an idiot, just not for that reason. And no, I mean, look, after talking about the possibility of Ranger moving to the bullpen, I think it would have been a great move, a great move, because now you have more flexibility of what you're doing in your rotation. You have another solid starter in that rotation for the playoffs. And it wouldn't have caught. I don't think you would have had to give up Painter or Miller.
Probably like Griff McGarry plus. You start with Griff McGarry and then kind of work your way. Probably like a Carlos De La Cruz and maybe another prospect.
Now, what are the odds that we see Abel or something by the end of the season?
I think pretty high, especially with a lot of the injuries that the Phillies have sustained in terms of rotation and bullpen. I think it's definitely a possibility we see Mick Abel. A little surprised we haven't seen him yet, truth be told. Um, but maybe thing is, if they were to showcase him, they would have brought him up like when Taiwan got hurt, kind of show him off in the majors. If he performs well, you use that as a trade piece, for today.
Right.
Um, okay, sorry, I thought something else was going on. No, um, but I think they kind of sought after what they wanted to do. They needed another bench bat. They needed a righty bat that could play every day. They did that. They needed a left-handed another reliable left-handed reliever. They did that. They needed a closer. They did that. So all in all, like, yes, it wasn't the big flashy names, but the more I sit with it and just talking through it with you, the more I kind of like the moves they made because they didn't need to give up a lot to get the same amount of production that they need at this point.
Now, I mean, look, yes, I agree with that. But would you have Jazz Chisholm after what he just did to us last night?
Doesn't really
Matt?
fit here. And we don't need another lefty. We needed a righty.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, if he was a righty, I probably would have been all over that.
Yeah. I need these prospects that they're holding on the dear life for to start paying off. Like we're not going to see Aiden Miller for another what 2 years, 3 years.
Idiots.
I
Idiots.
need to see. I want to see Abel. I want to see Painter. I don't think Painter's pitching this season, but
No, he's thrown off a mound soon. I got to text my one buddy just saying have fun with Gregory Soto.
loser.
Continue.
Yeah, I need to see these prospects that they're holding on to and they're holding on to that are supposed to be something. Because it's getting frustrating. These deadlines get passed, and it's like, okay, we still haven't made a big move. I need to see something.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're waiting for the right trade, like their guy to be available, a piece they need, a big name, and they're kind of
And who would that
holding.
be?
Don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I mean,
What?
I would have thought Robert, but clearly they didn't. My buddy is freaking out because they gave up so much for Greg Soto and Tyler Rogers. He's like, they gave up so much for mid pieces, and I'm like, yeah, that um
Mid at
kind
best.
kind of. So John, you mentioned to me that there was a topic that your wife wanted to talk to me about, and I'm very curious to find out what that is. So the floor is yours.
Well, buddy, there's a lot of holes in this team right now.
Mhm.
Not winning a lot of games since the All Star break. Um, she's got one particular player she cannot stand, and he happens to look like You, my friend,
Oh, so
our backup catcher.
you're referring to the backup catcher position, a position that only plays once a week. Garrett Stubbs, who hit, mind you, hit 280 while JT was out. Is that the player you're referring to?
That is the player I'm referring to.
Okay.
However, there's a
hmm
better player in AAA now
hmm
who I thought was going to be traded today.
Me too. I am shocked that he is still on the team, truth be told.
With that said, I mean, my here's another hot take for the viewers.
Mhm.
JT Realmuto is not going to be here in another 2 years. You've got left.
To next year. This is last year. So do you think they're holding on to Marchand to be the catcher of the future?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah, I do.
because originally it was going to be Logan O'Hoppe. Obviously, they traded him for Brandon Marsh, and I think that is a win-win trade. You know, those do happen off, sometimes. That is the prime example of a win-win trade.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously they traded O'Hoppe. Marchand has proven he can hit major league pitching from both sides of the plate. Would not be shocked if they just hang on to him and he's your catcher of the future.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Stubbs is here for another 3 years, I think. Um,
that
so
sounds
he's
right.
don't worry, he's not going anywhere. He
Well,
friend of the
not if that
friend
has anything to say about it.
Garrett Stubbs, friend of the program. Um, Now John,
Shout out, Barry.
now that I have you here, we are going to do a very special edition of John's Hot Takes because we are doing them live and in person. So John,
Okay.
the floor is yours again, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk. I like to point out at least three bullet points for hot takes. Hot take number one. All right, soccer uniforms in general, soccer jerseys, the best in sports by far.
Okay.
The reason I say that is they're not confined to one uniform, one jersey. They change every single season. Color schemes may remain the same for the home uniforms, but the away uniforms are different. I think they sell more. I think they're better style. I think even a professional environment, some of the polos, they have the polo soccer jerseys, they're fantastic. I feel like other sports need to adapt that mindset of having at least one new uniform every single season.
I feel like it's so tough because there's so many, and I guess with soccer, I mean soccer is the sport I know the least about, but I feel like in American sports, American professional sports, like there is a lot of pull from different companies that they don't want their jerseys because they're so iconic. Look at, the Patriots, like the Yankees, the Red Sox, like they're so iconic that their marketability is because of how iconic they are. And that's why I feel like teams and um organizations will steer away from getting crazy unique like that. Even though I agree, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it would sell a lot more jerseys. It would be a lot more
Definitely.
appealing for people, but you also got to think of recognizability. I think that's a word, but we'll go with that. It sounds right. You understood exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up.
That of brands, you have when the Dallas Cowboys, boo, but you know what their uniforms look like. You have teams like the Lakers, you know exactly what their uniform is going to look like. Same thing with like the Penguins. I don't know why I'm picking all Philadelphia rivals, but you get my point. They're
You
all
hate Philadelphia, don't
I
you,
do
bud?
hate Philadelphia. Yes, I do.
Makes sense.
They're all iconic. Oh, I'm running out of time. We're almost done. Relax, Zoom. Anyway, what's your next one, buddy?
Food take. Cheesecake, not cheesesteak, because I love Philadelphia. Cheesecake, disgusting.
Okay.
It's just gross. It's gross. Now,
Wrong.
no, it's not wrong. You go over to the Cheesecake Factory, which any
Delicious.
white trash person does. You you go over to the showcase. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's cream
It's
cheese. Jared, it's cream cheese.
I
It's on a
get
bed.
it. I get it, but if you're going to the Cheesecake Factory, first of all, you know what you're getting yourself into. I am a whore for Cheesecake Factory. You know this. We've been there together, John.
That's fine.
But
Chicken parm sandwich, fantastic.
delicious, delicious,
Macaroni balls, fantastic.
delicious. I'm saying,
Disgusting.
I'm saying that the cheesecake, I'm a cheesecake guy. Now, mind you, I go pie, cheesecake, and then like regular cake. That's my order.
So it's the correct answer is cookies. Any type of cookie, pie, brownies, cake, anything else, cheesecake.
You would even put like lemon bars ahead of the cheesecake?
Lemon bar is underrated.
Mm.
You ever have a good lemon bar?
No, because it doesn't exist.
That's not true. That's not. Lemon bars are fantastic. All right.
Anyway,
Now a tiramisu. All right. Now I'm speaking your language now, bud. I'm
speaking my
speaking your language.
Italian language, baby.
What category does that fall into?
Cake?
But
I
it's
feel like
not like
it's its own thing because there's different iterations of a tiramisu.
okay.
So
All
I
right.
feel like it's its own class of. I'm gonna look that up. Like, what is tier?
It's just a cake. It's gonna say cake. Dessert. That's what it's gonna say. Dessert.
So nor is it a. It literally okay. This is the exact thing. Tiramisu is not ice cream, obviously. It's not
Yes.
cake because it's not baked. It's similar to a cake that it consists of layers of espresso soaked ladyfinger cookies alternated with a mascarpone cream filling. So it literally is its own. Oh, okay. Sorry. I just got like the Phillies notification about the trading of that. Okay. Good move, Phils. You got rid of Soto, Kimbrel, Dominguez.
Everybody calls this a World Series.
Oh, they got, dude, they got two prospects from the Orioles for Gregory Soto. They got Seth Johnson and Moises Chase, high class ready.
Moises Chase can ball.
Yeah. Um, last hot take for me, John. Hit me,
Hot take. All right, last hot take. You know, we always got to round it up with the Phils.
of course.
Matt Klentak has more fingerprints on current day's roster than Dave Dombrowski does.
I agree, and
His,
we briefly talked about this, but I agree because you look around the infield. JT Realmuto, who signed him, John?
that would be Matt Klentak.
Bryce Harper, more John Middleton than it was Matt Klentak.
Who was the GM at that time?
Yes. Bryson Stott, who drafted him?
That would be Matt Klentak.
Trey Turner, Dave Dombrowski.
Dave Dombrowski.
Third base, who drafted Alec Boehm?
That would be Matt Klentak.
Left field, obviously, Dombrowski. Center field,
Matt Klentak.
Right field, Dombrowski. You're looking at the rotation when healthy. Zach Wheeler might be the best Matt Klentak move of his tenured.
Well, second best. Guy down playing for the Iron Pigs.
Oh yeah, Scott Kingery.
Yeah,
Scott Kingery. Aaron Nola drafted by Ruben Amaro. Actually, Ruben Amaro drafted Aaron Nola.
Yeah, well, I guess
but Matt Klentak extended him, which was a great move. Then you look at Ranger, Matt Klentak, Chris Sanchez, Matt Klentak, Taiwan Walker.
Who is Taiwan Walker, Jared? Who decided to pay Taiwan Walker over Zach Eflin?
That would be David Dombrowski. Now, bullpen was completely Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah.
The bullpen
And,
from top to bottom was Dave Dombrowski.
And I mean, you also have to take into consideration the manager. I mean, Topper, that's a Dave Dombrowski move.
It was, yeah. People forget he was here when Gabe was here. Gabe hired him.
Yes. But I feel like with every Dombrowski move, you can argue the latter.
Yes.
Anybody arguing Bryce was a bad signing? Except for
except for one person. I whenever I talk about Bryce, I never consider him Matt Klentak's move. It was more John Middleton being like, "You're coming here, come on."
Okay, well, then let's say the same thing. Zach Wheeler. Anybody arguing that was a bad deal?
No. Mm-mm. If anybody,
That was
he was underpaid.
that was the best deal in baseball.
Yeah. 5 years,
Uh,
100 for that guy.
yeah,
Kidding me?
the trade at the time for JT, despite what JT's doing right now.
I no, I do that trade 1,000 times
Oh
over.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Alec Boehm turned himself into the best third baseman in the NL. He's fantastic.
Some would say he's the best third baseman in Phillies history.
Some I would not fall in that category, but
No, someone say that number 20 was a bit of a fraud. I'm
wow,
kidding. I'm
wow.
kidding. I'm kidding. God.
I did. I hope so. Oh my god, you're gonna have our dads up in here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be. Did you just say? Please, please, save me, save me. Anyway,
Oh, I did not think that was gonna come off today. All right.
no. John, it's been a pleasure, buddy. Any final remarks?
Um. Yeah. Yeah. How about our little project we're doing, Bud? We talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, if those of you don't heard in the final couple minutes, John and I are making an Eagles podcast. It is the 52 Reasons Pod. I will link it down below. Every Tuesday, that will be coming out after game day. We're very, very excited to kind of get that off the ground and going. So, if you enjoyed this little tidbit, there's going to be a hell of a lot more of it coming down the pipeline.
At 52, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
That's
Um,
it.
but but John, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor, buddy. I appreciate you coming on. And this will not be the last time you'll be featured on the .NET Phillies podcast,
No,
whether
sir.
it's in person or during your awful takes.
Jeez.
So that's John, everybody. And now you're going to get back to me rambling about the Phillies being bad. All right, we are back. I hope you enjoyed that nice little trade deadline shenanigans with John and myself. Always good having him on and talking to him. You understand why I am the way I am, him managing me the way he does. But so looking at forward to the Mariners and to the Dodgers. Mariners pitching is no joke. Their offense is a joke. So it's kind of like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby right now with this Phillies offense versus the Mariners pitching staff. So we'll see. At this point, we'll see. I don't know. They've shown me no excitement or reason to believe that they're not just going to choke this away and they're going to lose yet another series out on the West Coast in Seattle. So I don't know. Try to win, I guess. Take a game there. The Dodgers, forget it. They're not winning a single game out in LA. So, um, yeah. I mean, listen, pessimistic .NET Phillies is back. We had it too good for too long. In the name, in the words of the genie from Fairly Odd Parents. So, wrapping it up, exciting news. John and I kind of touched on it a little bit at the end there. John and myself are starting our very own podcast regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. It is going to come out every Tuesday after after 6 at some point. We have both have work and figuring out scheduling wise. But coming out every Tuesday after game day, we're going to recap the game that happened on that Thursday, that Sunday, that Monday, and then kind of preview the next week, what they did good, what they did bad, everything like that. Kind of exactly what you see here. It's going to be John and myself kind of going back and forth regarding that. I know a lot of people have asked me if I was ever going to do an Eagles one. I didn't feel like it was the right time. I feel like now is the perfect time. I have the time. I have the resources to do it. I have an excellent co-host and John. And you kind of saw a little bit how we were talking. So I'm very, very excited that it is the 52 Reasons podcast. That is the official title, 52 Reasons. If you know, you know. Very excited to get that going and kind of get that off the ground and running. But that is going to do it for me today. It was a very heartfelt episode. Figure it out, Phillies. That's probably the name of the title of the episode, but figure it out. I want to love my baseball team again, and you're making it extremely difficult to not love you. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this very, very frantic episode. And I will see you guys next Wednesday.